Hey, I'm Robert Smith. Want to welcome you to the St. John's Hearing Podcast. I have the privilege of being the president and founder of St. John's Hearing Institute. We're all about reconnecting people who are disconnected by hearing loss. And before we go any further, yes, Charlie, look at his face. Our amazing producer, Charlie Hall, who hides behind the camera, but he's going to come out soon, folks. He has done so much work to get this set ready. I hope you'll pull and just shoot this set and insert it here because, brother, you've done so much work to make this possible. We're indebted to you forever. Charlie is from the Shine in the Darkness ministry, and he's the one who makes, by God's grace, the magic happen here on the set. Hey, Charlie, how you doing today?
Great. How are you doing?
I never had a bad day. Thanks for asking. So here's the thing, guys. We put this podcast together to serve you. And who are you? Hopefully, those of you out there who are watching, you're our patients, you're our families of patients, especially those of you out there in the retirement community. And the amazing retirement community staff also is part of all this that serves the people that we serve, and your other medical providers, and all of those out there that care about those that have a hearing loss. So what we hope to bring to you all is answers to hearing loss that seems to disconnect us as humans. And if we've learned anything over the last 3 or 4 years, especially with COVID, is that we need each other. We've watched people die from being alone, and we're here to bring the hearing impaired back to connected to people, places, and things that they love. So we're going to share some amazing stories of industry experts, technology experts, medical experts, and most importantly, we're going to showcase you. Those of you who have a hearing loss, have overcome it, and are thriving in this world, because we want to provide you with hope and help to make your life great. Yes. So we've been listening to you here, by the way, from St. John's, our little group, here in Pinellas County for over 33 years. And I got to tell you, have we learned a lot along the way in the beginning of our studies from a textbook? Yes, but nothing compared to what you all have taught us about your hearing loss. You families have taught us about what it's like to be a caretaker and the burdens that, you all lift up. You're an inspiration to us. As a matter of fact, I would say without you, we don't have purpose in our lives. And with you, your pain and what you shared with us for the last 33 years have become our purpose. You actually have created our St. John's treatment methodologies. So thanks to you, and I hope we do something to edify your life and to make things better for you. So we're going to be looking at episode 1. This is our first podcast, thanks to Charlie and you, Lord. And we're going to introduce you to the amazing people internally on our staff who love you and want to make your life better. Our providers out in the field, our support team behind the scenes, our administration, who literally live 8 to 5 to serve you. So today, I'm going to turn it back over, and we're going to interview one of our first providers. And when we do, we're going to share with you who they are, what they do, and what they're about. Today, I want to introduce you to one of our amazing providers, a 9-year veteran, Josh Dennis, and he is a diagnostic provider, serves the South Pinellas County, Florida market. Those of you that live down there, many of you, I hope you're going to be watching. You already know Josh, you love Josh. And Josh, thanks for coming and sitting down with us and spending a little time.
Thanks for having me. This is wonderful to be here to be able to do this.
Thanks for hanging out with us for 9 years. And
You're welcome.
One of the things I love about you is your commitment and dedication. One of the things that's funny, I like to tell everyone about Josh, I talk behind his back.
It's okay.
And that is, this guy is going to show up early, but he is there for his patients.
Yes.
Going to get into that a little bit, but first of all, tell us just a little bit about who you are. What's your life after 5? Who matters after 5?
My passion is my family. I've been ever since a kid growing up north moving down here. I mean, family's close. Family means the world to me, and I enjoy seeing my family, spending time with my wife, my kids. So my daughter just recently got married last year and moved out. My son just graduated high school and has just moved out as well. So we're almost empty nesting, and it's we are empty nesters right now. And
Except for the new puppy.
except for the new puppy,
Yeah.
exactly. Which is
Shout out to Hurley.
Still, yeah, shout out to Hurley out there, buddy. Yeah, it's family's important, and even on my 8 to 5, when I'm actually in the field seeing patients, they're like family. I mean, you get to know them, you get to conversate with them. It's not all just about the hearing. It's. I'd rather be with a patient, just talking to them, seeing how they're doing, what's going on in their life. It's their story of their life. It's getting to know them. It's better than reading a book.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
the people that I meet along the
For
way
sure.
is just, and I just love that. And but after hours, yeah, the family is my life, and that's what I.
So shout out, your bride's name is?
My bride's name is Sonia. Yes, Sonia.
Shout out to Sonia
Yes.
and your children.
Chase is my son. He's the one that just graduated high school. And my daughter Chloe,
And her husband.
her husband. Yes, her husband over there, Nathan. They have they're
Any
just,
grandkids yet?
no grandkids.
All
No
right.
grandkids.
All
Not
right.
yet. Not yet.
All right. Get going there, Chloe. And-
Yeah.
All right. So give us an idea. If you were talking to someone, you're sitting on a park bench, and someone said, "Hey, Josh, what do you do?" How would you describe in short order what you do?
I tell people I rehab their hearing. I mean, I try to bring to life to people a life that they may have not have had before. They're all in different seasons of their life, and everybody's unique to themselves. But in a world where communication, if it's, even the majority of the time, if it's just 90% of the time, it's just communication with their families or friends or even in their staff or so forth or wherever they're at in their life, and it becomes cumbersome and it becomes more difficult. When you bring that life to them to where they're able to interact and communicate with people, it changes the world. In relation to patients in my own life, my 8 to 5 is with patients, but in my own time frame at my own house, my wife Sonia has a hearing loss, and it's
Right.
and I can really relate with patients, of what they go through, and when I'm trying to help to
And family members, what they go through,
yeah,
right?
exactly. In that relation of the expectations, and because you can't restore anybody's God-given hearing, but you're able to give them some of the best chances in life of talking to their friends, their family, their loved ones, and and that's a lot of communication. That's feeding the brain the information, the sensory information that they need to just, they don't want to answer the wrong answer to a question when they said yes to a no and a no to a yes.
Right. And Josh, if I could ask too,
Yeah,
you just reminded me, like, I see what you do as not only treating the patient, but I see you treating the family member and
Yes.
counseling the family member how to also engage in
Yes.
helping that patient thrive.
Yes, exactly. It's a team effort, and you've got to look at it that way.
Right.
It's
Wow, that's a great point.
it's
It's a great point.
But when you in the season of the person's life, and everybody's unique to themselves,
Yeah.
bringing just the hearing to them, it's reconnecting them to their world, and as I tell people, I don't want to be arguing with my wife if she's not hearing me.
Right.
But I don't want patients to could be going through different situations but their hearing loss is unique to themselves of how they need to be treated and what they can be treated up to. So it's like I said, I live with it at home, and I can relate
Right.
more than most people.
So, switching gears a second, one of the things I noticed about you, Josh, because you get so excited you beat on the table. I'm sure Charlie's picking that up in his mics. Charlie, that was for you, brother.
Sorry.
He gets excited, and that's one of the things I love about you, Josh. Is number one, I've seen you go all in this 9 years you've given your patients here, and you get so excited about helping people.
Oh, yeah.
And so I want to ask you why you do what you do. Because you could do something else.
I could. And I believe, as I tell patients and people, I believe God has guided me to do what I do. Seriously. It's going back into the whole, you know, when I can have that aha moment with a patient and help them with their hearing and show them what they should be hearing like and how they should be hearing, that to me is that's ultimately it. I get goosebumps. I cheer. I show them, like that I'm truly happy for them because it's bringing new life to them, just like I would with my own wife,
So here's what I want to ask you, Josh. You encourage me by the way you get excited to not give up on your patients. And I'm thinking about this person. Maybe they're living in a retirement community. Maybe they've had a lot happen in life. Life can get a little heavy. And they're disconnecting from life because of a hearing loss and other things. Hearing loss is one thing, but how big is it to disconnect us? So we notice that their cognitive communication performance is really going downhill. And so they start, we see it, they're disconnecting.
Yes.
And their attitude starts to diminish. Their will starts to diminish. What encouragement would you give that person, and maybe that family member who supports that person, that wants to just quit and give up? I'm too old, it won't work, it costs too much, whatever their place of being stuck is, what encouragement would you give them?
I'm going to tell them, do you want them to give them some of the best chances in their life, in the season of their life, even so, like they say, their golden years, to have some of the best time they can have? It's about connecting.
And what kind of encouragement would you give the patient?
Do you want to be able to connect with family and friends and enjoy what years that God allows you to be here? It's like not taking medication for something that needs to be treated.
Amen to that.
Don't let your life die. Let it flourish.
Amen to that. I want to thank you for putting it out on the field, and all that you do for our amazing people that we serve, for not giving up. You went through a lot. This is a second career for you. You studied so hard to pass your board exams and all the things that we have to do to maintain our practice. And just want to thank you for showing up every day with that attitude of I'm here to help, whatever that looks like in a patient's life. So, man, thanks for everything you do,
You're
Josh.
welcome.
Appreciate you so much.
I enjoy it so
All
much.
right.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, we're back, and I'm really excited to introduce a person that has been a 5.5-year veteran here and actually is on her way out. But actually, is this an exit interview?
Yeah.
I've heard about this in HR. You are HR.
Yeah. This should be my exit interview.
All right,
No,
so
probably
this
not.
is Carla McCormick. She has been with us for 5.5 years. She runs our operations behind the scene. Carla, thanks for hanging out. Tell us about Carla. Who are you? Do you have a family? Introduce us to your life after 5-something, 6-something. I don't know.
Yeah.
No.
I have a family of 5.25, I guess. I have 3 boys, a husband, and a grandbaby who just turned 3. We have the boys are 21, 25, and 29.
Okay, let's shout out your husband's name.
And my husband is Jamie.
Jamie. Hey, Jamie.
Hey, Jamie.
Thank you, by the way, for the loan for
Yes.
5.5 years. By the way, you're the one.
This is the
Love you,
offering.
brother.
The offering of
Yeah,
me to you.
sacrificial.
Yes.
And so, boys' names.
Boys' names are Hayden, Jacob, and Devin,
Okay.
and baby Atlas.
Baby Atlas.
Yep.
Like Charles Atlas. Some of you are old enough to remember Charles Atlas. This is a carbon copy.
Yeah.
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 You're probably too young to
Yeah,
remember
I don't
Charles
know that
Atlas.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay. So, at any rate,
Yeah.
what do you like to do in your off time?
In my off time, we have a side gig business, a food truck. That's most of my off time.
What's that got to do with hearing?
Nothing.
Oh, wow.
Sorry.
But go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
That's my off time. And baby Atlas and the boys hanging out. Yeah.
So, a day,
A day.
No food truck run.
No food truck.
No side gig.
Yeah.
And you, Jamie, and whoever is left that will go. What would be fun for you to go do one day? What do you enjoy?
Gosh. Long walks on the beach.
When's the last time that happened, Carla?
I do. I don't do it often.
All right.
But okay, Jamie will laugh. I like to go lay in the grass. Anywhere we go, if there's a field of grass patch, I will go lay down. It's an ongoing joke. We were out of town recently. We went to a park, and he knows that's where I'm headed. I'm just gonna go lay down.
Wow, new development.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, we got it on video, Charlie.
Yep.
Okay.
It's not very exciting, but that's what I like to just go do and quiet and,
The new thing now, they say grounding. So you're grounding.
I've been
Okay.
grounding before grounding was cool.
I think
So,
you introduced it. Yeah,
yeah.
you heard it here?
I brought it
You
to the
heard
world.
Here? Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you were meeting someone new and they say, Carl, what do you do? Why temporarily before you vacate this
Before I
premise?
vacate, yeah. That I work at St. John's and do operations, and that's very vague, but I would say I equipped people with what they need before they know they need it as much as possible and make sure they have all the things to do their
Wow.
job.
That sounds
that's-
intense.
That's the short version of a long list.
Okay. And I have seen that list and walked
Yeah.
out because I'm afraid of your job. But I do want to introduce, you are leaving us officially in a weekish,
Week-ish. There's a-
Jamie-ish, brother.
He knows
Okay.
the ish. I told him there's an ish, and
Okay.
he's,
Got it on camera.
Yeah.
We're all good.
yeah.
So you're going to leave, if you don't mind, because we're so thankful for you, first of all. Mourning, yes, but excited for what are you and Jamie going to go do from here? Together.
We are opening two new concepts, and then our food truck, we are extending it to brick and mortar. So we are retiring the truck and putting it into its own wall space. And the other two concepts are a cafe and a beer and wine tap house.
Wow.
Right down the street on Cleveland, if anybody wants to check it out.
All right. What's the address?
1011 Cleveland.
All right. And what's the name?
All three.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, absolutely.
Top Nosh.
Okay.
And cafe is Deja Brew.
Deja Brew.
Deja Brew. And the other is Tap House.
Wow. Which is another form of brew.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Two brews.
Two brews.
in
Two
one
brews
place.
for one.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're really excited that you guys are doing that because I see the gleam in both of your eyes, you and your groom, Jamie. But just backing up and camping before you vacate the space, what's your why in your role at St. John's? We heard what you do. You equip us, all of the people out there. Why do you do what you do? Why'd you stick around here for 5.5 years?
I think it goes to my personality type of I don't like to be off guard. I don't like to be unprepared. So it just comes natural to me to want to do that for other people in life in general. In my home and the kids, I'm always pre-planning, getting everything ready and done as much as I can. So that just kind of spilled over into my why at St. John's.
Okay. And I noticed something about you. One of the many things we love about you is I noticed that you connect your dots. So she's in this room and trying to be isolated, but never. We bolted her door open so that it cannot be closed. But I noticed you connect the dots between what you do, which appears to be a physical thing. I noticed you connect the dots all the way out to the patient. How do you do that? What's that look like for you?
Making sure patients have their supplies and what they need, creating videos for them
Wow.
for how to do, when our providers can't be there and we need to help troubleshoot, that I make a couple of videos on how to change their whack traps for them and I email it to them. So it's a, Band-Aid until we can make sure there's not something more urgent going on with their device or, with them. So that would be a dot.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And since you're not going to do it, I'm going to do
Okay.
it. And that is,
You're fishing for something I didn't say.
well, it's what you do every day. It's like you see that our providers need all these supplies.
Yeah.
And whether they turn in their sheets or not, she never gets frustrated, guys. She never
No.
ever gets frustrated, and could I lie about other things too?
Sure.
You get frustrated behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So, but she doesn't show it. She equips our providers out there so that when they get to you, they have what they need. To your point, even before they know they need it. And she sees you out there. And that's how she's performed her function. And it's amazing. And we're all thankful, which is why today, as we all meet for a monthly meeting, we're all kind of not wanting to look at you because this will be your last monthly meeting together. And we're all crying a little bit. And but is there anything else that you would want to share about what you do and why you do it and who you do it for?
I do it for all our patients, obviously, but I think in the beginning when I first started, I have worked in hearing before. I'd worked 20 years ago in a ENT clinic in Savannah, and I worked with a lot of the babies, the newborns. I did the screenings for that, and that was fun because it's babies. I mean, of course, now I'm just the other spectrum of life.
Right.
So you see a very big difference. But we did a lot of cochlear, so that was really eye-opening to me then because you go from a death to life moment when you see these patients put on a cochlear, and starting at St. John's, working more with hearing devices and not those two things, and seeing videos. We would record patient videos of putting them on. Was I'm gonna get all sad and happy, but it's extremely emotional to see a patient in tears because they are now hearing their refrigerator, their cat, their children. They can FaceTime, and it's a pretty cool thing. Yeah,
Stirs you.
I know it does because it's you're seeing a grown man, 80 years old, in tears because of just missing out, and they get to hear now, and it's pretty cool. They tell us they go, I'm not in my room anymore. I'm sitting down in the cafeteria now, and I didn't know I needed this, and that's pretty cool.
Right.
So yeah, that's my
All right.
motivation to. I don't touch the patients. I don't see the patients like I would like to maybe, but knowing what I do behind the curtain is still helping them. That's it.
Yeah. That's Carla.
Yeah.
Hey, I just want to thank you for being guilted into hanging out with us for a few minutes, and love to hear your story and love to share the hearts that live inside here, because we do it all for them, and we gonna miss you, but gonna pray that things go really well with you two down there. And in order to prove that your food is good, we're gonna require samples.
Oh yeah,
All
for
right.
sure.
All right.
I'll bring them over. I know where you are every first Friday of the month. So.
All right, we got it. All right, thanks, Carla. Appreciate you so much. Hey guys, I'm excited to introduce Darren to you today, and you're going to find out from Darren himself that he's a patient care coordinator, brand new with us here, only a matter of months, and a really cool backstory, because he wasn't just around the corner to get here, but want to share a story with you. Darren, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for offering your time. I appreciate it, and I know that our folks out there are going to appreciate it too. So if you don't mind, could you just tell us who you are, if you're married, do you have children? What's up with Darren?
Sure. My full name is Darren Cireco, and I was born in the New York City area.
All right.
Yeah.
Go New York.
Yeah. And
In a borough?
in the boroughs, the boroughs,
Which one?
Staten Island.
All right.
Yep. And I moved to New Jersey, or Jersey City specifically, in my early 30s. And I worked for a few different companies, but one in particular I worked for 19 years. That's where I was before I came here. Small
Did you get
hydraulic.
married over in New Jersey?
Yeah, I met my wife. I met my wife, and praise the Lord, we met through the Christian Cafe website, but it wasn't a coincidence. It was a deliberate attempt through prayer and fasting to meet her, because I had been searching earnestly for her, and I had a friend that was a pastor that shared with me, this is how you're going to meet your wife. I want you to follow the pattern of Daniel and Nehemiah in the Bible, and how they were able to get God's attention. So I had done exactly what he had said. He said, I want you to start praising God now for your spouse, before she was even there. And I was doing that in addition to praying and fasting.
Shout out her name.
My wife's name is Joanna.
All right. And you also have some little ones.
Yes, I have a 3-year-old little boy and a 20-month-year-old little girl.
So they have names?
Yep. My son, his name is Jason Josiah.
Uh-huh.
We named him after a disciple of Jesus, Jason, and Josiah was a king who loved God with all his heart. And my daughter, we named Daniela Elizabeth. We named Daniela after Daniel, the prophet,
All right.
and Elizabeth, obviously, after the mother, John the Baptist.
Let's just take a day. You're on the weekend. You're new to Florida, from New Jersey to Florida.
Yep.
What do you guys like to do on a day off together?
Wow. All right.
Down here, since you just got here.
Yeah, I think when we have the time, we like to go over to the beach. We enjoy, my kids love the beach. They love playing in the sand and making sandcastles and playing with the water. And
Yeah.
so we do that. And they also really love the splash pad and the splash pad and playground down at Coachman Park. So we go down there sometimes and they get to frolic and have a really good time.
If you could describe, like, you meet someone, you and your wife meet someone, and they say, well, what do you do, Darren? How would you describe what you do?
Well, I'm really excited to share this, and I feel like God placed me here. I would begin by just giving a little background, just saying that I think it was a deliberate effort by the Lord bringing me here, and my boss, who I think the world of because he loves the Lord earnestly. And so basically, what I ask, God knows me better than I know myself, and I know I'm going into a long story here, but I'll just say that I wanted him to put me in a place where he knew I would be happy and I would thrive. So what do? I'm a patient care coordinator, and what I enjoy the most, I get to work with, many of our patients.
Right.
And it's so encouraging because I, just if I can brighten their day by just sharing, whether it be a minute or two about me or just getting to know them a little better. And I understand that they want to hear better and they want to just be healthier. And I'm happy just to try to encourage them to do that and to just feel loved for a minute or two that they spend with me.
Wow. And I hear your conversations as I walk through your area, and I know what you're saying is 100% true. And I'm so thankful to hear you connecting. Like, it's not just a conversation with you. You're listening. I see you leaning in, wanting to know more about them and invest in them. And so maybe it's a little different because you've been here just a few months, but you literally packed up your family from New Jersey to do what you just described here, to move here. And so now, we go somewhere and it's new and like, oh, I don't know. Wow. Do I even like this? So what's that look like now that you're here? You're on the ground. You still excited about what you do?
Absolutely.
Why?
Again, if I get a chance to shine God's love into somebody's life, even for a couple of minutes, naturally I want them to hear better and be healthier. But if they decide they don't want to go that route, it's their prerogative. But the fact that I could just share a couple minutes, just hear them talk and maybe encourage for a minute or two, maybe the day's brightened for a moment or two. I had one patient specifically, I recall saying, the world's so negative and there's so much. And I was able to share about Jesus a little bit and say about how that's really the light of the world and that's really the answer. And I praise him for everything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, one of the many that we love about you, even though you're new, you can't hide it. And it's easy to see you speak from the heart. You speak to the heart. You're looking to build a relationship and really walk along. You really meet people where they are over the phone as a coordinator. And I know from what I hear and the way they're responding from what you say that you're making connections with people that are more than a phone call, more than a coordinating in their next appointment for their treatment. Even though you're new, I just want to throw something at you because over the last 40 years for me, the heartbreaker is we have this patient and they get stuck in life where they're at. And I'm too old, it costs too much, it probably won't work, I'll just live the rest of my life with a hearing loss. And we see them, through the phone you see them, through our providers you hear from them, from the folks you talk to because they open up to you on the phone, you discover that they get isolated, that they break off unknowingly relationships with other people, and they just hunker down. And so I want you to think about that patient out there who's stuck, and what encouragement would you have for them?
I would tell them that there's hope and there's a brighter future, and God loves them so deeply that He wants to bless them with the desires of their hearts, and that can be manifest in many ways. He doesn't want them to feel. It's the enemy that wants them to feel isolated and estranged and just sad and angry or whatever it is. But God has a different plan for them, and His plan is for them to thrive and prosper and be blessed. But there is a prerequisite for that. They have to walk in obedience, and they have to walk according to God's will in order to have that. But God wants it for them, and it's there for them to have it. And if they were willing to go down that road, it would be such an amazing road and journey for them, and they would be so encouraged at the end.
Wow, that's a good word. And I'm also thinking about, I'm going to take you back. You weren't here during COVID. But what we saw happen during COVID, you probably saw in New Jersey and other ways, is for our folks who were in retirement community, and things just pretty much shut down, doors closed, relationships were broken. Even families for a while couldn't get in. And what it exposed to us and illuminated is that isolation kills. And so as we roll out of COVID, we learned so much. Our patients and families taught us so much. We need each other. Now we realize that more than ever, and that gives us a fervor, a more passion to help people hear better and stay connected. So I'm thinking about that family member out there whose mom or dad is stuck, whose aunt, I should say, or uncle is stuck, that they're helping care for. And they're kind of in, hey, I don't want to overstep my bounds with mom. She takes care of her own stuff, or I just don't know what to do, because who of us has gone down that road already? How do we know how to do it right for mom or dad or aunt or uncle? What encouragement would you give that family member, that caregiver, to help get this prospective patient through that stuckness?
Sure. Well, we love mostly by actions. All right. So, that's what God's plan is for us, dearly, to love Him with the whole heart, soul, mind, and strength, to love our neighbor as ourselves. So basically, the encouragement me to be, for a family member, for that parent or that struggling, is to love them earnestly with their words and their actions. And once the parent understands the love, or receives the love from their child, they're certainly more open to a further step of how do I get better. And what's great about St. John's is we're here every step of the way. So they can, once we develop a relationship and they trust us to help them, which we will do. And so you get it kind of from two sides. The child is able to show their love themselves. And I think a lot of it has to do with the relationship the child has with the parent. And if that's not there and that's broken, it's going to be really difficult, but not impossible, but difficult. But if that's there, and then on the other side, from our perspective, our reputation is really strong and stellar because we do care for our patients. We do love our patients. So the parent will feel so much more encouraged and confident, knowing that they have the love of their child, and then they have the love from St. John's, and that bringing that together will get them, will encourage them, and will help them ultimately with their hearing and their health.
Okay, that sounds good. Hey, man, I just want to thank you for hanging out with us for a minute. Hope we get a chance to do this again.
Absolutely.
And as you get more seasoned in your seat and what you do for our patients, I hope we can have a revisit and get an update. Fair enough?
That sounds wonderful.
Thanks for being here, man.
Praise the Lord. I'm happy to be here. Happy to help in any way I can.
All right. Thanks,
God bless you,
Darren.
Robert, and God bless St. John's and all our patients.
Oh, man, for sure. It's really a great pleasure to introduce this next provider. She has, actually, you know what? Instead of telling you how long she's been here this time, I'm going to let her tell the backstory in just a minute. But this is Gili. She's a provider here. And interesting is that she's my daughter. And actually, she'll probably tell you, third generation hearing provider. So, Abby, welcome. Thanks for signing up. You did do this voluntarily, right?
I did.
You sure?
Thanks for having me.
Right.
Yes.
Are you nervous?
A little bit.
Okay. They'll go away.
Okay.
The cool thing is these folks out here are patients, they're their families, they're a retirement community that you already know, that you've built relationships with over the last few years, and anybody who loves our people, and we're just talking to each other with them. They're invited into the conversation. And the first thing I want to ask is a little bit about you. Mm-hmm. I know about you a lot, actually, and you know too much about me, but let's share with them, who are you? What goes on after 5? What's going on in your life?
So I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I have a husband and 2 beautiful little girls.
Want to get shout out names, husband?
Yes. So my husband is Dan.
Okay.
We've been married almost 10 years now. And we have 2 little girls, Ella, who's 3, and Gentry, who's 4. So when I'm not working, I'm spending time with my family and just loving every minute of it.
Okay. And what do you guys like to do for fun?
Yeah, so we like to do really just spending time together. We like to go to parks. We really like to be outside. So if we're able to be outside, that's typically what we're doing. Playing outside, jumping on the trampoline, going to the park, playing with the girls, dancing.
Wow. What a
Yeah.
time in life.
Yes.
If you were sitting next to someone who you didn't know and they said, Abby, what do you do? How would you explain that to them?
So what we do is really help someone, a patient and their family or any support people in their lives, help them hear better wherever they're at, whatever season of life they're in, and to the best of their ability. So our job is to really care for them and make sure that we find a program that they can be successful with and just bring the joy back into their life and really watch them grow and flourish. And it's our job to adapt as things change in our lives, as they do every day, and to still continue to help them to be their best.
Right. You mind telling us, this is your second time here.
Yeah.
You want to give us the backdrop?
Yeah, well, technically, when people usually ask me, how long have you been involved in this? I say, since I was born. Because, you've been in the hearing world since before I was born. So I really grew up with it, playing with impression material. I remember all that.
How did it taste, by the way?
I don't think I tasted it. I'm not that child. But so really, I feel like it's always been part of who I was. And obviously, you see different things at different ages. And as we grow and evolve as people, we learn different things. But technically, I first started with St. John's officially about 11 years ago, I believe.
Wow.
So about 11 years ago. Then, as my dad likes to say, my husband stole me away and moved us.
He did. Dan, thanks for bringing her back, brother. Thanks for bringing her back.
Moved us to Illinois, and then after that, we kind of stole him from Illinois.
Had babies.
Yeah.
Don't forget the babies.
Yeah. Had
Grandkids.
2 beautiful little children, and then the
So
4 of
beautiful.
us moved back to Florida about 2.5 years ago.
As you like to say, we gave everything. You moved literally. You guys had such a cool life. This little bitty gem of a little town in Illinois, just a picture perfect Hallmark movie place that you lived, and you uprooted all of that to come down here. And why?
We felt that it was the right thing to do, that we were called to do this. And for my husband, it was totally different, totally out of his comfort zone.
By the way, he works here too.
Yes.
He's a rehab provider, a great one.
Yes. But we just felt that it was what God intended for us to do, and to bring our family here and kind of start a different season of our lives, and just really pour everything into St. John's and its mission and what we do.
I remember having conversations with you when you were in Illinois. And do you remember that? Mm-hmm. And we were talking about your future and what you wanted to see for it. And I remember poor Dan almost felt we were having, Dan, please forgive me. I feel like we were having conversations to conspire. And your heart seemed to be drawn back down here. And real quick, your hubby, Dan, amazing man, he was part of, I'm going to call him a bridge builder, because how you take bridges down over the Mississippi River in St. Louis and put them back, I have no clue, and I never want to know, but amazing people do that. And I'm amazed at him. His head and hand skills are so good, and they've adapted so well. And you guys have worked so hard to get through your board exams, get re-educated. And I'm amazed at him and how all that translated through the computer to the electronics and algorithms of hearing loss and making joyful people. And so I guess I'm going to go back to a fundamental question again. Why do you want to continue in this? What's your why? You know, we need to have a why or we're going to quit. What's your why to stay in this? For them, by the way, our audience. Guys, this is for you. We do what we do for you. And why do you do that?
Now I'm going to get emotional. So just seeing our patients, whatever they go through, and then seeing them after when they're so excited and really bringing back that joy. And I'll bring myself into this a little bit. So it doesn't matter what's gone on in your day. When you are there with them, you are so in the moment, and just, it's a blessing, really. I guess, like, I feel blessed to be able to spend time with them and help them in even the littlest way possible. So just to see someone that might be isolated, or going through the motions, pretending that they're doing okay, and they're doing it a lot of times because they don't want their family to feel burdened by them aging or whatever it might be that's caused their hearing loss. So they just go about doing the best that they can. And then you really start to see those walls break down, and their reasons, the things that they're missing, the things that they were passionate about, that they want to do again, and that their family wants for them. And just to see a family and a patient, or a friend and a patient, or a caregiver and a patient, anyone kind of come together and be able to be in that safe space where their true emotions can come out and what's really going on in life. It isn't always pretty either.
Yeah, for sure.
Because those are hard conversations, but the outcome and just seeing the joy on their face, or someone saying to you, like, they didn't realize that their cat meowed. They thought that their cat that they've had for 10 years couldn't meow, and then they hear it again, and the smile on their face, it's worth it.
Wow, and isn't that amazing? And I'm so glad you shared that, because it seems like a little thing, a cat meowing, but yet to them, they love that animal, what love animals bring to us, and not to be able to enjoy that and to see that reconnection. Let's say you have a bad day. You ever have a bad day?
Yes.
All right.
Or challenge days. I have 2 toddlers, so.
Yeah. So when you come to work, how do you, because this is hard, all of us do.
Yeah.
I never had a bad day, but I have had to walk uphill both ways, more challenging days. And so how do you get yourself back in the mindset and ready for that patient when you're having a rough day?
For me, really, it's just seeing the patient and knowing what they maybe went through to have the courage to get there, or to see the family for them to have the courage. When a family member, maybe a child, or just a sibling, anything, starts to have to care for someone else, be the caregiver, that reversal of roles, it's a hard job on both sides to reverse that. And to know that they had the courage to get there, how can I not have the courage to get over whatever I have going on and just be present for them? So it's really easy.
Right. It sounds like it's more than hearing devices. And,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's all over your face.
Yeah.
I want to talk to your patient. You have this happen all the time. And quite frankly, about 50% of the people say yes to our treatment recommendations, and about 50% don't.
Yeah.
And a lot of them may never. So what encouragement would you have for that patient out there that you see that's stuck and afraid?
Yeah.
I'm too old, it won't work, it costs too much, and they're just scared and hunkered down about taking that step to get reconnected again. What encouragement would you give that patient?
I would say there's always going to be something else. There's never a perfect time for anything, and our days are numbered on this earth. So I think the most important thing is that you remember that you're worth it, and to at least give it a shot. Have that courage to step out of your comfort zone and be vulnerable, because those people that are around you, even those of us that you might just meet maybe that day, we do care and we want to help you. And, you know, most of the time that's there's so much that we can do to help that people don't even realize. And so I would just say, give it a shot, trust those around you, trust us, and let us help you, because you are worth it.
I'm thinking about the family member, and I'm thinking about they're living their life. They got a mom or a dad, an aunt or an uncle, and the busyness of life sets in all, right? I mean,
Yes.
your face, like, man, you don't even say anything right there, and that says it all. But they're burdened, and then they're going to take on, and they're going to help. They're going to step in because they love their family member, but they don't know how far to step, or they're stuck on encouraging mom or dad or uncle or aunt. What would you say as a word of encouragement to that family member?
I would say, follow your heart. And if your intention is to help them, then really do that. They might be upset with you for a moment, for maybe pushing them to do something that they don't necessarily appear to want to in the beginning. But after you get through that hurdle, they're going to be thanking you. And when you have those moments of doubt, just really look back. Think back to the past, and think back to maybe when you were younger and there were things that maybe you didn't know that you needed to do or wanted to do, but those our elders or just those influential people around us really pushed you to do that. And then afterwards, now you're probably super thankful that they did, because that's what needs to happen for you to be taken care of. And that's really what needs to be happen now. They want to still take care of patients, often still want to take care of their children or their family, and they don't think that they're worthy of that care, maybe because of their age. But it doesn't matter if you're 20 or 106. You are worthy, they are worthy, so just do it.
Well, that's a good note. I know they get stuck. Anything else that you want to share while we got this moment on the mic?
I just want to say thank you for allowing us to step into your world, whether you're the patient or a caregiver or a friend or anyone. Thank you for being vulnerable with us. Thank you for having the courage. And thank you for sharing your life, because a lot of our patients, they aren't just patients to us. We're a family. Right. My husband and I, we work together, not right next to each other every day, but our patients oftentimes become part of our dinner table conversation, because they become like family to us. So it truly is a blessing, and That's what I would say. Just we care about you and we love you, and just thanks for letting us do that.